Hey now! What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka Review King MB, and we have reached the end, sadly, kind of the end, of American Reunion. This is the end of the American Pie series. American Wedding was supposed to be the end, but they decided to bring them back, and you have the reunion. This came out in 2012. It was directed by Hayden Schlossberg and John Hurwitz. And the plot is very simple, fairly easy to digest. It's the same cast and characters from American Pie, but now it's their high school reunion. So they all come back to town. They're all grown up and older. They have lives, they have wives, they have all these grown-up situations, but they're still goofy as all hell. They're still comical, they're still entertaining. It's still fun and nice to see them all back together. That's really what I think of this movie, honestly, is that I really enjoy this film. I was so glad that they decided to make this movie. I saw that Jason Biggs and Sean William Scott helped produce it, so it must have been something that, even though American Wedding was supposed to be the end, and it seemed like it was the end for almost a decade, they probably thought, like, we need to leave this franchise on a higher note, on a better note. And I think this does the job that the last movie should have done, as far as giving characters a send-off, as far as playing nice dynamics to what these characters did and what they were with each other. Jason Biggs as Jim is obviously your main lead. He's the guy that's going to bring you down the path to meet up with everybody. You see that his marriage with Michelle, played by Allison Hannigan, that they fall in a little bit of a rut, a sexual rut, where they don't have sex as much, they don't make love. It's sort of like they have their kids, and then they go off and sort of do their own thing, and it's hurting their relationship. I like that because it's real, it makes sense. It's something that is relatable probably to most couples. Also, who else do we have? We have Chris Klein. Let's talk about Chris Klein back as Oz. I never been more excited to see a character come back. I know it's weird and I know it's random. I'm not this big, huge Chris Klein fan in general, but it felt wrong to not have his character in American Wedding, and I like that they brought him back here. And honestly, he's probably like the second most interesting character of the group, next to Jim. He went off to have this career as this host, ESPN, and he's done stuff like Dancing with the Stars, and he's kind of in that sort of semi-celebrity bubble in the movies. And his relationship with Heather didn't work out because he wanted to go off and pursue that. When he comes back home, yeah, sure, he has this hot young girlfriend of his, but when he sees Heather, all of his feelings come back. Everything comes back, being with the friends, and so he realizes that maybe that life, that chasing that life, wasn't as important to him as he once thought it was. Heather, once again, played by Mina Savari, still looks great. In fact, she might even look better than what she did when it was in the first movie. Thomas Ian Nicholas as Kevin. You see that he has a wife now, and when he comes home, he runs into Vicky, played by Tara Reid, who I know Tara Reid's had a lot of drug problems and a lot of plastic surgery, and she doesn't look the same. This movie did a decent job, though, of making her kind of look like Vicky from the first film. Like, she doesn't look like somebody that I'm like, whoa, who's that? I don't know, maybe it's the lighting, maybe it's the way how they shot her to make sure she didn't look like a disgrace. But that plot of him kind of maybe wanting to hook up with her, or having feelings about hooking up with her, feeling guilty about it, it was all good and interesting, much better than what they had him do in the third movie. But the problem, though, is that we don't know his wife. We're not really indoctrinated to her. We've never met her other than now. So him possibly cheating on her with Vicky, I didn't care as much, right? Like, in fact, I almost wanted him to, because Vicky is his first love and is somebody that we know a lot more. I know that's messed up, and I know it's sad, and I know I should feel bad for the wife, and in a way I do, but character-wise, yeah, who gives a shit? Eddie K. Thomas as Finch. He's just a dude who's gone off and done a bunch of cool things, so he says. Of course, he's gone off of that story of effing Stifler's mom all these years. So why not go off and do all these crazy, over-the-top things that he might say that he's done? Makes sense. Speaking of Stifler, Sean William Scott is back as Stifler, and he has some of the best bits and materials and crazy scene sequences that you can think of. It's one of those things that, even though some people thought that Stifler was overplayed in the last movie, and I could maybe agree with that, this time around I think they used him right. They used him best. You see him trying to be responsible at his job, but he still craves that high school dynamic. He still wants to be that cool guy. Even his friends, when they eventually get to a point where they're like, dude, this isn't high school anymore, like, you need to grow up, you need to grow up, it hits him in a way that I thought was, well, very interesting, and glad that they took that character in that way. Obviously, though, he does dumb things, like he shits and the kids cooler, he ruins their speedboats, and just does these things that, man, he should probably go to jail, honestly. And John Cho back as, I think his character's name is John, just John, but he's the MILF guy. In the first couple of movies, he's just there to yell MILF every time Stifler's mom is on screen. It's so funny that because he became such a bigger star by this point, they gave his character so many scenes and so much to do. He has his own little story arc going on of how him and the other MILF guy stopped being friends, but they're constantly shoving him into scenes that are cool and good because he's that good of an actor, and he deserves it. And Jessica, played by Natasha Lyonne, she only has like the one scene, which is unfortunate, but they confirmed that her character's a lesbian all these years later, and there you go. Although I always thought that her and Vicky would have ended up together. I don't know, maybe that wouldn't have been such a bad thing now that I think about it. Sherman, the Shermanator, yes, he's here because you have to bring Sherman back, especially after everything that he's done in the first two movies. Nadia as well. I remembered her being in this movie a little bit more than just like the one scene, but it's quite amusing that she ended up dating somebody that looks exactly like Jim. It just makes too much sense. And Shannon Elizabeth, man, does she still look good all these years later. Not that it's such a big gap to where she should look like crap, but no, like wow, that's Nadia, huh? And Jim turned that down, didn't he? Yeah, he did. Eugene Levy as Jim's dad has some great bits as well. Yeah, it's sad to see that Jim's mother died, but I guess I understood what they wanted to do with Jim's dad and how Mr. Levinstein, he's trying to live his life, and then they try to get him out in the dating scene and tries to be a little more hip and cool. Great bits of him getting drunk at Stifler's party, which is something that I never thought I wanted to see until I got to see it now. Eugene Levy drunk and doing stupid shit. Him creating this relationship with Stifler's mom is something that I also never thought I wanted to see until I saw it, and it was great. So overall, yeah, this movie I think was really fun, still holds up. You get that side plot, I can't believe I didn't even mention it, where Jim, he used to babysit this girl next door. She's now 18. This girl, Kara, who, I don't even know if I have her name listed here. Yeah, she's played by Allie Cobrin. Man, she's hot. She is. I feel bad saying it, too, because Jim has a wife, he has kids, and he shouldn't feel anything because he did know her when she was little, so that sense it's weird. But this actress is attractive. This actress is fun and spunky, but she's not slutty and trashy either. There's something about an actress when she can pull off being pissed drunk, her 18th birthday party, she gets naked practically in front of him, tries to hook up with him, but I never still felt like she was trashy. I know that's weird, I know it's like, what, doesn't make sense, dude, but still, I thought that actress pulled it off well. The scene where she's in the car with him and she's raving about classic rock when all they're playing is Spice Girls, and I'm like, holy crap, do I feel old right now? I'm definitely in Jim's position at that point. At least Jim doesn't hook up with her, though, as much as he might have wanted to. Yeah, so this movie I think is fun, it's funny, it's nice to reunite with these characters. You feel like you're almost reuniting with them. I think it stays true to what those earlier first two movies were like. I think it's a better way to end this series on this kind of a note. It brings everyone together. It stays true to the characters. It is them at a point in their life that makes sense to follow. Yeah, what more can I say about American Union? I think it's one of the better of the series. I guess that could be it, or I could rewatch those direct-to-DVD sequels of American Pie. I can almost guarantee that they'll all be rants because I saw them once before, did not like them. I can do it again because why the hell not? Thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments below what you think of American Union. Do you agree with me that this is fun, that it's funny, that you're glad that they made it, or is this whole series not for you? Have I been reviewing these movies and you have not cared at all because maybe you don't like them? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!
Heat in my vein like vernacular. Cook up the beat with a spatula. Y'all are not ready for action. I'm smoking these rappers and feeling spectacular. Making a killing like massacre. Watch out, I'm whipping my wrist. Right on my city, been pissed, but I show them love. I'm not the one that's at risk. My homie told me that when people rise up against you, it's a sign of your destiny real. Fake ones been hating cause they know that one day you're making it. Jealousy's all they can feel. Plugging the phone, drifting my zone. Pain in the future when thinking alone.